there's a handful of teams that potentially can compete for a Super Bowl championship.
Confusion and uncertainty this year more than some in the past.
This team looks like it's ready to make a move, but we just don't know if it's bad or good this year.
J.J. McCarthy is eventually going to take over, but it's a no-lose situation for them.
I mean, they suck. They were 7-10.
Only on SportsGrid.
I'm talking about playing Deontay George, Taylor Hendricks, Isaiah Collier, the rookie, Cody Williams, the rookie, Bryce Sansamore, second year, maybe keeping Walker Kessler. That means either Danny Ainge thinks that they're going to be a championship team in 3 to 4 years, or he's going to wait 1 year and he's going to trade Lauri Markkanen and he's going to get the farm.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Shane back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping like the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
The bottom of this field is a bunch of guys, quite frankly, that aren't on the tour, aren't on the DP tour, aren't on the Korn Ferry tour.
You know, the top 25 or so in this field, I mean, you've got Rory, you've got Lowry, you've got Scheffler, you know, all four Americans, Minwoo Lee and Jason Day. And you go to Mito Pereira and Joaquin Neiman out of Chile. So, you know, it really is pretty deep.
In-game live, prime time, only.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pitch, the players, the hustlers, the people, the bus, and everybody else in between. A Monday night meltdown has begun as we suffer from Olympic withdrawals right now. But countdown to kickoff in the National Football League rapidly approaches. College football kicks off in 12 days. That's right, just 12 days away from the start of the college football season. The AP poll was dropped earlier in the day. The Georgia Bulldogs are ranked number 1. The Michigan Wolverines ranked number 9, the lowest ranking for defending national champion since the Auburn Tigers in 2011, an Auburn Tiger team that lost Cam Newton. We'll break it all down. We've got NFL football. We've got college football to talk. As it's time to start dialing it up a notch now as far as the college and the NFL gridiron are concerned. Major League Baseball going on right now as we speak as far as games we can hop in on that have sort of just started. The Blue Jays and the Angels are playing. They're in the bottom of the second inning. This game is still tied, so it's a very bettable game still. Halos are minus 120. Blue Jays minus 110. Total 7.5 right now. The Colorado Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks in action. The D-backs are smoking hot. They came into tonight's play only 3.5 back of the Los Angeles Dodgers as the NL West has suddenly gotten a little realer right now with San Diego racking up all the W's that they've had. Arizona up 1-0 right now at the bottom of the second. They are right now, this is incredible, minus 650 favorites in this baseball game, up just 1-0. They do have a runner on third base with one out. Colorado plus 425 right now. Pittsburgh are in a free fall. They're still on the West Coast. They got swept by the Dodgers. Now they get San Diego. San Diego are currently minus 245 in a scoreless baseball game. Middle two right now. So we'll keep our eye on the games that just started. The Yankees are letting a lot of people down this evening. Yankees are losing 5-2 to the Chicago White Sox. George Kurtz will step up and in tonight. We'll talk Yankee baseball and Major League Baseball. Sean Higgs in the house tonight. Joe Madden joins us in the Razor Red at Cam Stewart. So we've got a full house this evening. Mo Khan normally joins me on Monday nights, but Mo will be with us on the Twisted Tuesday tomorrow. We'll be locked and loaded on the Twisted Tuesday. So the Olympics are done, and it was a great way to spend a couple of weeks. We didn't sleep very much during the Olympics, and I'm still trying to catch up right now. It did wear me out, but there's nothing like staying up until 5 in the morning because you want to see a canoe race that you didn't know existed before. But now you've got money on it. When it was all said and done, we won more than we lost. We racked up a lot of parlays. We put a lot of work into it, but it was cool. And this summer was awesome. For a sport fan, we were really spoiled this summer. We had the Euro Cup, which was just awesome. We had the Copa, which was amazing and intense and just like all kinds of crazy, stupid storylines from the Copa America led us into the Olympics. And now here we are right now, just a couple of weeks away from the start of college football. We're less than 2 weeks away. So not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, we've got a couple of games. And then the Saturday after that, we've got it's go time. We got a bunch of big-time matchups, including the number one ranked team in the country, the Georgia Bulldogs. Should Georgia be ranked number one? I don't know, right? Does it really matter in the big picture? Probably not, no. But they are ranked number one. Ohio State, 2. The Ducks are 3. We'll go over the poll here, and I'll sort of give you my thoughts on it and the teams in it. Because, there's a few teams I think are being overhyped a little bit. Doesn't mean they're not good, but we can't stress enough, actually, about the new college football world that we're entering, especially when it comes to win totals, all right? Every team's schedule is like twice as hard as it's always been. Like most of the time in college football, like the big-time teams, they'll have like 2 games that are sort of like the games. They're favored in all of them, but there's like those 2 toss-up games where it's like, all right, the Alabama LSU game over the years, Texas, Oklahoma, right? Like there's only usually, Michigan and Ohio State. If you're Michigan, generally, like really your schedule is essentially Ohio State and Penn State, right? Like those, it's like, all right, listen, Penn State's going to be tough and Ohio State's a toss-up tough, but we should be able to win every other game. That's not the case now for teams. I don't care who you are. Like even Georgia, that's the thing with the Georgia Bulldogs. The Georgia Bulldogs have had a serious advantage over the years. The SEC schedule was completely unbalanced. One division was way better than the other division. And the Georgia Bulldogs were in the weak division. The Georgia Bulldogs, there are no divisions now. The Georgia Bulldogs, can't escape playing big-time teams now like they were. It was no fault of their own, but that was just the way the division lined up. Similar situation with the Big Ten, right? I mean, there's a reason why Northwestern and Purdue and, Wisconsin's in the world keep on getting into the championship because of the unbalanced divisions. So now in college football, every team is playing like a vicious schedule. We'll go over some of these team schedules. And the Georgia Bulldogs is usually a cupcake. Like, honestly, last year I remember we were talking, Georgia's toughest game is against Missouri. Like, you know what I'm saying? And Missouri are good. But there's not like a bunch of them where it's like, oh, yeah. Like, just off the top of my head, the Michigan Wolverines this year, never mind they open up with Fresno State. Okay, that's a winnable game for them. But week 2, Michigan played Texas. Week 4, they play the USC Trojans. So they're playing the Texas Longhorns, a team that, not even in their conference. There's no reason to be playing them. Your schedule is hard enough as it is now in the Big Ten. But you've thrown Texas on top of this, and props to Texas for playing at Ann Arbor. So you got, Texas, USC, Michigan play the Oregon Ducks this year, and they go to Washington. I know Washington lost a lot, but still, it's not an easy place to go and play. You go to Washington, and you go to Columbus. That's like 5 serious, big-time powerhouse games that normally they didn't play before. Right? Like, it's like I've been telling people, a lot of big-time programs that are used to being 10-2 and 11-1 could be looking at 8-4s, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we'll get into that and how it reflects as far as the win totals are concerned. As far as the Olympics were concerned, absolutely epic endings as far as the basketball. The French men and the French women brought the U.S. to the tilt in both men's and women's basketball. Let's give credit where credit is due, man. Steph Curry basically had his, one last shining moment because I don't think anybody believes the Golden State Warriors are going to win a championship again. At least I don't think they are. Is it impossible? No. But let's be real. Curry's kind of been a little bit forgotten about. And honestly as well, for all of Curry's greatness and stuff and all of his accomplishments, you'll notice he's not talked about as one of the greatest players ever. They'll say, oh, he's one of the greatest shooters ever. Right, but what he did, that was like his sort of, look, there were a lot of alphas on that team, right? There were a lot of dudes, and basically all those dudes said, you know what, get the ball to Curry right now because he's smoking hot, right? If France didn't, if Curry missed a couple of those shots, man, I got to tell you, we could be talking about a different gold medal champion right now. And if one player, listen, the USA were going to find a way. They did against Serbia, but there were a couple of moments in that game against France when France came back late in the fourth. If Evan Fournier just could have hit a shot, if Evan Fournier wouldn't have turned the ball over as much as he did, he was a massive problem for them in the fourth quarter of France. He kept turning the ball over like it was just a complete disaster. If they didn't really have anywhere to go with him, they took him off the court a bit and they got him back in there. They needed him to hit a couple of threes, but he wasn't hitting shots. He was getting lit up on D, and he kept turning the ball over. He had like 3 turnovers in the last quarter. Every time, it would get to 3 or 5, Fournier would seemingly turn it over or something would happen. But Fournier also had an amazing game the game before that. So I'm not throwing Fournier under the bus, but that's the difference right now. You look at France, man, and you look at the talent that they have, all they're missing is a point guard. If France had like a stud point guard on that team, they could win the gold medal, but if ends and buts were candies and nuts, right? Props to the USA for getting it done. We'll break it all down. The Monday Night Meltdown has begun. Bring it.
Incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center, here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight.
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
Let's roll. The Monday Night Meltdown has begun. This is SportsRage. I'm Gabriel Morency, Sirius XM, Channel 159, SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks. The Olympics are unfortunately done, but a quick recap. The over-under for the USA was 39 and a half gold medals, and they get to 40 with the women's basketball. And if you recall, I said that, mid-Olympics. I said this is really going to come down to, the basketball and maybe potentially a golfer, and it's going to be that close. It's a lesson learned moving forward as far as the USA is concerned. You can't get a sharper number. Last Olympics, the USA over-under was 39.5. They got to 40. This Olympics was 39.5. They got to 40. It's pretty clear that the odds makers know what they're doing with the U.S. And if you're going to bet this, like, all right, there's no need stressing it out until the final day or something, because it's going to land right around that. China had a really good Olympics. Their over-under was 33.5, and they got to 40. So that was a nice bet. Canada was a really nice bet. Like, Canada greatly overachieved as far as, and really, like in sports, point spreads are kind of the barometer of things, right? Like the projection, okay, you were supposed to win 39.5 medals. You won 40. You did it, and you got there, but it wasn't like mind-blowing. China is supposed to win 33, winning 40 was pretty good. Canada nearly doubled their projection, 5.5 to 9. Very, very impressive there. France fell short in a big way. They ended up with like 15, and there were 25.5 projected gold. But to their defense, they gave the U.S. all that they can handle in basketball, women's basketball, men's basketball. It was just bad luck that they ended up. Put it this way, France lost a lot of finals. Like, they lost the soccer championship. They did win the volleyball. And once again, I've learned a lesson that Poland will choke all the time. Let's bring in Cam Stewart and Joe Madden. What's the word with the Polish team? That they have all the talent, but they never get it done, right? They haven't won since the 1976 Olympics in Montreal. Yeah. And, bro, they got smashed. They didn't even win a set. Like, France murdered them.
I live in little Poland, and I've never heard people swearing in Polish like so much about stuff. Like, I go into the delicatessen for like some buns.
Yeah, they like volleyball, so they knew all about it. They were
there's a couple of young guys like my age, and they were like snapping. I'm like, I don't really know Polish, but that sounds like a lot of F-bombs in Polski. And the neighbors.
It's the way they lost. They just got lit up. Like, they didn't, like, they got lit up by France, right? They didn't win a set.
The neighbors never talk, Gabe. All that she does is shake out her rags because they got like dogs and stuff.
You heard some screaming and some anger.
Yeah. A lot of angry Polish people in the neighborhood.
I went down in flames. I had Poland on the future, but I was, hey, listen, it's not hedging, because someone said, oh, I thought you didn't hedge. I didn't hedge. I took France plus 1.5 sets.
That's what you did.
And I won. I was trying to win them both. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. Joe Madden in the house with us. How you doing tonight, Joe?
I'm doing great, Gabe. I want to wish you a happy belated birthday, by the way, and I hope you enjoyed that Indian restaurant the other night.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Yeah, it was very good. The food was very good. We had a great day. Thanks for all the birthday wishes to everybody. If I was unable to respond, I'm still in recovery mode right now, not getting any younger, but we've lasted another year. So it's like, wow, there's another year.
Yeah,
I try not to think about the numbers, to be honest. Like, yes,
it's like the prison guy. Just mark off another one, right, Gabe? I'm with you, buddy. It gets harder.
Yeah, I don't really look. I'm not like looking forward to these days. Like, oh, yeah, my birthday's coming. So like, yeah, okay. I don't get down about it, but at the same point in time, like, ultimately, like, you're a year older. It's nothing really. There is, I guess, that you're still alive, right? That's the good point, but. The other point is you're also one step closer to the end.
Yeah, that's I don't want to talk about Pink Floyd one step closer to death. I want to keep it positive right now, but I'm with you. Let's stay positive.
Saying, you want to get philosophical about it.
Yeah, it's the facts. Yeah.
Scotty says,
like, it's like the sun getting closer to the earth. Like,
you're right.
It's slowly happening, but it's getting there. Yeah.
Hitting the back nine. Yeah, I know. It's like the back nine sucks. I like the front nine better. But anyway, we do what we do. We survive.
Yeah, you know what, though? You can't plan. No one can plan the future. Like this, so all you can do is live in it now. Whether you're 17, whether you're 71, whether you're 51, all you can do is live in it now. Nobody controls tomorrow. The Blue Jays have just hit a 2-run home run and have taken a 4-0 lead on the Angels right now. In the top of the third.
Gabe, I don't usually take the Blue Jays recently, but after that embarrassment to Oakland, my philosophy, when you lose, the loser teams come back. And know what I liked about tonight's Blue Jays team? Everybody's out of the lineup, all rookies except for Guerrero. And I like the way Big John Studd did it tonight. The energy kids are in, and right now they're providing energy. It looks like a very good move after a 5.5-hour flight to LA. It was a smart move, actually, to get some of the older guys out like Springer and put these kids in because they're doing really well tonight.
Yeah, I don't often bet on the Jays, and honestly, I wouldn't have. It wasn't like it jumped off the screen at me or anything like that. But the fact is, the game started as the show was starting. And I was like, you know what? I was like, wow,
that's
all right. And kind of like what Cam said, if it was like the regular lineup of the Jays, I wouldn't be interested. But actually, same thing. I like the fact. I was like, if all these kids up here trying to prove themselves right now, the Angels are terrible. The game's a pick 'em. I could see the Jays showing up here tonight with some energy, right? You see, this often happens when the younger players show up in August and September. You can get you get some enthusiasm in a clubhouse that didn't have any, and it can carry over to the next year too. I mean, I know people give up on things, but the team can know, all right, this kid's for real. That guy can be on our team next year. Like, we can sort of. They need a shakeup, and honestly, too, the Blue Jays farm system isn't really known. Like, there's not a bunch of ton of great prospects in the system right now. So they need to see of the players that they have who can actually play, Cam.
Gabe, great point. And I'm going to say this. They just didn't bring up anybody, too. They brought up one of the best players in AAA, Wagner. He's top 10 in every category, and he's already done great tonight with a double. So that's the thing. The guys they're bringing up aren't just some, regular dudes. They're actually guys that have produced at that level, and they're very, very hungry to actually get a roster lineup for next year. Excellent point by you.
I've always said, though, this about baseball, guys. Like some other sports, it's true. You can teams will top out or they'll be worn out in the final weeks of the season or the month of the season. But baseball is such an individualistic sport. Guys aren't worried about what place they're in. They're worried about their batting average. They're worried about how many home runs they hit. And it's a job. They're trying to get paid.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center, here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Harry on the top. Right hand from the great double champion. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining. We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this thing all the way to the top now.
The Angels just hit a home run, 4-1, 1 out, bottom of the third inning. For those of you that bet on the over, a good start. You've already got 5 runs put up on the board in this baseball game. Looking at the scoreboard right now, a big game of interest for everybody is the New York Yankees. Because number 1, they're the New York Yankees. Number 2, they're battling for the division with the Baltimore Orioles. And number 3, about 98% of the marketplace are on the New York Yankees tonight in parlays. And the Yankees continue to trail 5-2. Now, we've seen the White Sox blow leads time and time again. The Yankees are down to their last 6 outs. We're at the bottom of the seventh inning right now. There's 1 out. Yet the number itself is absolutely insane right now. The New York Yankees are plus 650 to come back against a baseball team that routinely blows 3-run leads in the 8th and 9th inning. Plus 650 is a very attractive number, Joe. It's a big-time number. Like I said, the White Sox are terrible at holding on to leads, although the Yankees just can't cash anything in tonight. They've had 1 million runners on base. They are being out-hit 11-7, but I've seen numerous times the Yankees with runners on base tonight to get nothing out of it. What do you think about this game? The White Sox do have a runner on second base now, actually.
Yeah, live, this is scary. When I went into this pregame, I did take the Chicago White Sox plus 1.5 in the first 5 at minus 110 with a sprinkle of the money line, because we looked at Luis Hill coming out here and he threw 107 pitches in his last game out. Well, the last time that he threw 100 or more pitches in his last game, coming into the next one, he absolutely struggled, giving up 7 runs in 1.32 innings. So I faded him tonight here in the first 5. It did pay off. I was kind of worried here with the Chicago White Sox because we know this team has struggled, but I wouldn't trust the Chicago White Sox in their bullpen to be able to hold things down on the Yankees for the rest of the game. I think this is a nice opportunity to put a little bit of money on the Yankees live right now at plus 650, Gabe. I couldn't say no to that number.
Cam, what do you think about plus 650 for the Yankees? Although it might be more, might be 6-2 in a second. Like I said, the White Sox have something going here right now.
I was just going to bet them at minus 2.5. Now it's 6-2. You're right, Morency. They just scored again. See, I'm going the other way, Joe. It's not. I just don't think it's the Yankees' night tonight.
And they just doubled it. It went to 12-1. The Yankees are now 12-1.
I need a grand slam there, Morency, but I'll tell you this, it's just one of those nights where, we picked our spots with the White Sox, but if you've actually looked at the numbers recently, they've been playing a lot better over the last 5 games. I'm not saying they're good, but just take a look at the results, and they've been a much better team, not as fadeable as before. I actually think they might win by more than 4 runs in this game. I think they might tack on a few more. I must be nuts.
Yeah, they're not going to lose every game that they play. And it looks like tonight is the night, actually, that they're going to get a win. Mookie Betts returned for the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight, and Mookie Betts went deep in this baseball game. So is Shohei Ohtani. But the bigger story is Mookie Betts came back today is the fact that Mookie Betts is staying in an Airbnb instead of the hotel with the team, as there's a hotel called the Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee, and it's haunted. Like point blank, there's no debating it. There's ghosts. It's a very haunted place. And some players like it. Like some players want to see ghosts and stuff. Like some players like stay there and they're all like, oh yeah, maybe something will happen, right? Like they're into it. And Mookie Betts is not. This isn't the first time he's done that. Ever since he found out it was haunted, he doesn't stay there, which is pretty interesting. Amazing. He stays on his own and gets an Airbnb on his own camp.
That's so cool. I love this guy. That's so awesome. I believe in that stuff. I know that people think I'm crazy and stuff too, but like some of those old buildings, yeah, you're great call by you, Morency. I know people they try to chase them and they want to see something, but I like Mookie's style. It's like, get me the hell out of here. Especially when you're such a good player. You don't need a ghost to screw with you. If you were a loser player, you'd want to hang with ghosts. Maybe they'll help you.
He said that he used to stay there before, but it messed with his head. And he said that he couldn't sleep, and he never got a good night's sleep because he was worried about ghosts and the paranormal.
Yep.
I don't blame him.
He goes, I couldn't sleep. He goes, every noise, I'd be like, is that something? Betts claims he doesn't believe in ghosts, but he doesn't want to find out and prove himself wrong by staying in the hotel.
What a way to look at things, right? Bet on him.
He said, I don't believe in ghosts, but I don't want to find out.
That's so cool. I love it.
Well, you kind of do funny. If you couldn't sleep and you were worried. On the other side, we'll let you know, there's been various incidences of different teams. Oakland A's player has haunted experience. And I think you just play for the Oakland A's and you're just haunted everywhere.
Exactly. You're scared all the time.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight.
Early on the top, right hand from my great double jab. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the Pistol Players, the Hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Sirius XM, Channel 159, the SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. The Dodgers are up 5-2 on the Brewers. And we're talking about Mookie Betts not wanting to stay in the haunted in the hotel. So here are some of the instances of players. Here's Brent Rooker of the Oakland Athletics. He goes, I had it on the Golf Channel, and I'll be on my laptop looking down. I look back up, and it's on the QVC network or some other channel. It definitely is not the Golf Channel. That happened to me a few times. I fell asleep with it all one night. I woke up at like 4 a.m., and it was off. I figured it was a sleep timer. I woke back up at 7:30 or 8, and it was back on a different channel that I'd fallen asleep with it on. Little small things like that, as he says, are happening there.
A big thing.
Then it gets a little deeper, though. Here's the list of players. Like I said, it's not just in their heads. These are the players, Michael Young, Bryce Harper, Mike Cameron, have all told stories of strange footsteps, objects moving by themselves, and hearing voices. In 2018, Carlos Martinez and Marcelo Osuna both claimed that they saw a ghost. Like I said, this place is like haunted as hell. Like, let's just call it up what it is.
Milwaukee, yeah.
So why are your team staying there? I wouldn't stay there.
That's a good point.
It's a nice hotel.
Yeah. What, not a lot of hotels in Milwaukee?
It's like one of the older hotels. It's like it's from the 1800s, so it's like it is like a legendary spot. But here, if you can hear, actually, I'm going to send in this to our crew. You guys get a picture up of it. I'm looking at the lobby here, and there's no way in hell I would stay in this place. I'd check out right away. Like you could just tell, like looking, like right away, be like, no, man. Like this is a weird place. Like there's definitely like bones and weird stuff like in the walls. Like I wouldn't. I don't know why teams stay there. I don't think every team does actually. So I don't know why the Dodgers do. Like I said, some players like it. They think it's cool, right? Hey, we're going to that haunted hotel and stuff. Eh? Like they all want to see something.
I would think it would be cool till if the ghost does something to me that makes it uncool, but I'd give it a shot for sure. I think it'd be
not
fun.
Me. I just asked, where's the Marriott? You got another hotel? You got another 5-star hotel here? It's not haunted. You got I'd ask them, what's the newest hotel in the city? What's the newest built hotel you have?
Can I get a spiritless hotel, please, sir? Yes, it's like, okay. I'm telling you, man, those old buildings. Yeah, you're right, Morency. You said about Toronto too, man. There's a million of them like here that are just. This place is just haunted city. It's nuts.
I was in a haunted studio. I used to do a show in a studio. And I'm not just saying it, like so much so, Dan Aykroyd, the actor Dan Aykroyd, even had a TV show on the paranormal and ghost and all that. He's really into it. So there's a reason why it was his office building. So we literally rented. They were like, oh, yeah, Dan Aykroyd, this used to be his headquarters for that TV show, Paranormal. And we're like, yeah, why? Why would he rent in this, like, of all, like, streets in a city as big as Toronto? Why is he here? And they were like, well, legend has it that this building's kind of pretty haunted, by the way. Like, they told us that after we signed the lease. Well, by the way, the place is haunted, right? And I saw grown men that didn't fear a lot of things, that they would not want to step foot in this place. Except our former co-host, Richard Gardner, who didn't mind sleeping there somehow. I used to tell him, dude, like, I used to be there. I used to be there a lot, too, like 2, 3, 4 in the morning and stuff. And I'll be honest with you, I saw things. I saw like weird lights type thing. Like, it's like that, you know what I mean? Like when you see ghosts, they're not in like white sheets, man. It's sort of like this. Something's there. You see it. The corner sort of goes in the corner of your eye. It's gone. You're like, did I just see something? And it's one of those weird deals. The sounds were real and stuff like that. And I started to look into it more after, and the entire neighborhood and the entire area has just been like a source of like a lot of crazy things and death over the years. And it just resonates. It's just sort of factually. You can just sort of feel it too. Toronto's a very sort of spooky city. Like you could feel it. I remember I moved there and I didn't even know. Like it was just my own intuition. I was walking down the street. Hell, I'm forgetting the names of the streets now, which is crazy because I lived there for so long. What the hell is the name of that street? It's the street City Hall is on. But anyways, I was walking down the street all the time. There's a bunch of hospitals there. And what is it?
It's Queen? Is it Queen on City Hall?
No, it's not King or Queen. It's not King or Queen. It's one of the
other City Hall. Okay. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Yeah.
Anyways, if I saw the name, it's where all the hospitals are. But it's like Hospital Row. But I could just sort of feel it and stuff. And then I find out afterwards, like, yeah, it was like the battle of whatever, man. They're like, 6,000 people died on this site. You can feel that stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when it's really over the top, this stuff lingers. It's like that Keg Mansion in Toronto. That's another really haunted spot that no one can dispute. It's like, it's just this haunted, and they put a keg in it, like, for, like,
that keg in, it's amazing. Great location. It's the best one game.
Yeah, but he used to freak people out, like, to go eat there and stuff. And, Joe, kids would see them, but other people wouldn't. So it would happen a lot where, like, someone's kid would be, like, talking to someone and be like, who are you talking to? Oh. She's like, you don't see her? I'm talking to this girl. And it'd be, like, right out of a movie. Like, all right, we're leaving now. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, just look it up sometime if you want. Keg Toronto, I'm telling you. There's a lot of crazy stuff. So this hotel, same thing. But, yeah, I would not stay there. Would you stay there, Joe, if you were, like, on a baseball team?
No.
I just requested, no, I'm staying at another hotel. I'm not staying here.
Yeah. You couldn't pay me to stay somewhere like that. It just creeps me right out, Gabe. So no.
You staying here, Cam?
I'm in. Yeah, I think me and the ghosts. I think we can handle it. I've been in situations where I lived in a place that was haunted before. Like I don't really. Anyway, I'm just saying I find it fascinating. Like Dan Aykroyd, I would stay there. They can't kill you. A lot of things can happen though. That's the whole thing.
I would and I would and I wouldn't. Like I would and I wouldn't. Like if I was having a bad year, I would. If I was having a good year, I wouldn't. Like if I was smoking the ball or something, I'd be like, no, I'm not staying in a. But if things were going really bad, I'd be like, I don't know, what could go worse? We need to shake things up a little bit, right?
I could go to a haunted house and turn my ear around. Exactly. Yeah. 11-2 White Sox, Gabe. 11-2. Had a vibe tonight. Oh, boy, Kurtz is going to be angry.
What are the Yankees paying now?
Oh, man.
They're not even offering a money line on one of my books.
They're plus 8.5.
8.5. Yeah, it's 8.5. Exactly.
Wow.
And they're not even covering that right now. They'd have to score a run to win that. They're losing by 9.
I'm starting to think I want to take the 8.5 as well. White Sox night.
You're going to lay 8.5 with the White Sox. White Sox minus 8.5.
The haunted house special, White Sox minus 8.5.
Well, you know, it's a frustrated team. Like they take some frustrations out. They might put up more runs after.
That's what I'm saying.
It's their night tonight. 11-2 right now. Wow. All right, so the Braves and the Giants, they're scoreless. I'm on the Braves in this game. They're scoreless in the middle of the 4th inning right now. Still scoreless in San Diego, Pittsburgh, and San Diego. A lot of people on San Diego tonight. And this might be a night of parlay busters, guys. The Colorado Rockies are up 3-1 on the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yep. It is parlay buster night tonight. Yankees will take out the early wave and the Rockies with the late wave. Gabe, a lot of baseball left in that one, though, but it was really interesting, this Braves-Giants game with the great pitching matchup. They had runners on the corners early. Both teams could score. They both got out of it, and since then, it's been nothing. Total now 3.5, and what are we in, the fourth inning? Fifth inning for Braves and Giants. I got the under 6.5.
And the Red Sox and Rangers have been playing forever here tonight. They're tied at 4 right now, but they've got runners on. It's like minus 450 on the money line. I don't know if they're changing pitchers. I think I had the game on, but it's a commercial right now. All right, on the other side, we'll get into some football. The CFL season is really rolling along right now. Hard to believe we're already going into week 11 of CFL play. And that's the thing with the CFL, and a warning for the NFL and NFL fans coming up. 18 games is so long that the first 2-3 months of the season don't really even matter.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center, here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Harry on the target. Right hand from who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining. We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
The Monday Night Meltdown continues. This is SportsRage, Sirius XM Channel 159 on the SportsGrid radio and television networks. So the Red Sox have runners on second and third right now with one out in a 4-4 game. We're in the bottom of the 10th inning, and they just loaded the bases right now. So they're on potentially the verge of winning this game. 4-1 for the Blue Jays over the Angels. It's 11-2 right now for the Chicago White Sox, and they're mowing the Yankees down, 2 out already in the top of the 8th inning. Blue Jays are up 4-1 on the Angels. That game is cruising along. They're at the top of the 5th inning already. All these games are going pretty fast. Colorado and Arizona in the bottom of the 4th right now, 3-1. Colorado have the lead. Pittsburgh and San Diego still scoreless, and Atlanta and San Francisco still scoreless. I'm on the Atlanta Braves to win this game. They're at the bottom of the 4th inning right now. NFL preseason is back, and, of course, the CFL going into Week 11 right now. But taking a look at the CFL situation, Joe, the season is so long. There's a saying in the Canadian Football League that games don't really start to count until after Labor Day. Like Labor Day weekend is sort of that, all right, now it's real. And, listen, every game counts, but you'll notice now through 10 weeks, we're pretty clogged up right now, right? Like you've got Montreal, the West is just sort of wide open again. Saskatchewan's good. Calgary are in the mix. Like, they're not great, but they're in the mix. Everyone thought BC were great. They're clearly not. But there's so much football left to be played, and it's going to be an entertaining season. It's flying by, and teams a lot of times are almost like looking for a playoff team, right? It's like, all right, this team, that division's so bad. There's like legitimately everybody in the league is pretty much alive now, even an Edmonton Elk team that didn't win any games. Now suddenly they've won 2 in a row, and they've got a bunch of confidence that they could just win a bunch of games and make the playoffs now. And you know what? There's enough football left that they can.
Yeah, which is surprising. You look at the Edmonton Elks, they finally just won 2 in a row. And like you said, we're going into week 11 here. So it is a mixed bag of fruit, I guess you could say, out there in the CFL, because all of these teams, except for the Montreal Alouettes, really haven't proven that they can be consistent out there. And with so many weeks left, it is anyone's up for grabs to make the playoffs there. But I do think Montreal has been phenomenally strong on the season. They keep proving themselves week in and week out. So hopefully they don't have to deal with any injuries and continue to roll strong out their game.
Well, they've gone through numerous quarterbacks, and they've still won 16 of their last 17 games, and the Red Sox just won the baseball game right now. Game, set, match, Boston wins 5-4. 5-4 final score in 10 innings. So the Ottawa Red Blacks are making a quarterback change. This is another thing in the CFL that's been a theme. We've pretty much gotten through like the halfway, a little past the halfway mark of the season, but almost quarterbacks on every team are getting hurt. And it just shows. Like in a modern era, you need multiple good quarterbacks on your team. Now the Ottawa Red Blacks, they lost their starter, Drew Brown. Dustin Crum got hit hard last week, and they weren't overly impressed with his play. The game was a tie game when it was all said and done. They're going with Jeremiah Masoli this week, who hasn't played a football game in over a year's time. So, listen, props to Masoli. Nobody thought he was ever really going to play again. I don't know if it's the right choice. We'll find out. But one thing we know about Calgary is they haven't lost at home, Joe. And Calgary Stampeders are 2.5-point favorites. And with all due respect to Jeremiah Masoli, I don't have a lot of confidence in him. Coming back off of this injury, he's like 36, 37 years old right now. He's been injured a lot over the years. A good spot for Calgary this week. And also, it's time for Ottawa to come back down to earth in reality.
I really think it is time for Ottawa to come back down to earth. This team is overplaying what we would have thought of them on the season. And you're right, Jeremiah Masoli hasn't played since that ACL injury since 2023. So I'm looking for Calgary, like you said, undefeated at home, 4-0 at home. Unfortunately, they can't get anything together on the road. They've lost every single road game out there, which is 5. So I'm looking for them to be able to get the win here. Now, do I trust them to cover the 2.5? I do, because I think the Ottawa Red Blacks aren't as good as their record on the season. And I think Calgary defensively, while they have their struggles with Jeremiah Masoli out here, will be able to shut down the gameplay here out of the Ottawa Red Blacks. And this is an offense that needs to do better. If we look here at Jake Mayer, he's phenomenal at getting that ball moving down the field. He can put up the passing yards. He can put up the passing touchdowns. His problem is he gets erratic with his arm out there, throws those interceptions, and gets picked off. So we need him to come out a little bit stronger in this game, and I think Calgary can cover it.
Cam, what do you think of Ottawa and Calgary?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not so. I know Calgary hasn't lost at home. I'm looking at Ottawa, but I like more than anything in this game under 49.5. I think Ottawa is going to have to play a smart game in Calgary, and I think one thing I know about Ottawa is their defense steps up and they get a lot of pressure on the quarterback, forcing Mayer to make some mistakes in that game. I see a lot of field goals instead of touchdowns. Morency, I like the under in this game between Ottawa and Calgary, and I'm probably going to tease Ottawa. I must be a sucker for punishment with Masoli, but I just got a weird feeling that they show up this week, but I like the under more than anything.
One thing with Ottawa this year, they've been pretty fortunate. They played good football. We'll give them credit, but they've lost their starting quarterback, and he was pretty good for them. He wasn't like putting up huge numbers, but they were playing winning football with Drew Brown. There was a confidence level, and they were building something. But they pretty much, like almost on a weekly basis, Ottawa's opponents have been in a bad spot. They've either been injured, bad scheduling spot, bad team. Like Ottawa's schedule has been very favorable for them. And now it finally catches up. You're not going to go through an 18-game season, 20-week season of just only good luck. And now it catches up to them a little bit. They lose their quarterback. They've got to go on the road now against a team that hasn't lost at home. And Calgary have been very consistent in being inconsistent in that they're good one week and they're bad and they're all over the place. They have bad first halves all the time at home, but then they come back after. But we have a 2.5 point spread here. I guess Trevor Harris is expected to be back this week for the Rough Riders. But, you could argue the Alouettes are still being disrespected. Winners of 16 of their last 17 football games. They are 2.5 point favorites in this game. The total is 51 there. We'll hit this and more on the other side. The Edmonton Elks have won 2 games in a row. The Hamilton Tiger Cats have benched Bo Levi Mitchell this week against the Edmonton Elks. And you got Winnipeg and BC.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56.
Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Harry on the top. Right hand from my Perry. Who's the king of violence? I am!
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining. We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this thing all the way to the top now.
The Monday Night Meltdown continues. This is SportsRage. Talking CFL right now. George Kurtz will join us. At level 2, we'll talk some NFL football, Major League Baseball, 4-1 Blue Jays over the Angels right now. And good job, guys. There's the outdoor. But if you look at the lobby when you enter, you can just sort of get the feeling that it's like an old school opera house or something.
I like
you can
it.
just get the vibe here that it's not my type of place.
I'm having dinner there.
It's very
I'm not
Montrealish,
sleeping there.
Gabe. It's got that like old vibe of like
it's like an old,
cool. I like.
I'd rather a more modern, brighter. Hey, listen, this is why people stay there. Though it's nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure the food's good, and like I said, some people like the paranormal, right? It adds a little spice to their dinner. That's why people go to the Keg Mansion in Toronto. So, like I mentioned, Bo Levi Mitchell gets benched, and I don't really know if it's the right decision. They're kind of in between here. I don't think their backup is better than he is, to be honest. And I don't really know if it's his fault. Is he great? No, but it's just sort of been a bad year as a whole for this team. I'm not a big fan of Milanovic, their coach, to be honest. Edmonton Elks are 1.5-point road favorites, man. It's unbelievable. A team that's won twice in all year are actually road favorites. And then finally, in closing, I don't think Vernon Adams is going to be back this week. I know there were some people talking about how he could be. I don't think, even though they don't like losing these games, I don't think they want to rush him back. They understand there's still a lot of football left to be played, man. We got September, October, November still, right? We're a little past the halfway mark. There's a lot of games left here for these teams. Like BC are at the halfway point. They've only played 9 games, so I don't expect them to be back, and neither do the odds makers. And also, they didn't really lose because of the quarterback yesterday. BC just aren't playing good football as a team right now. They're dropping passes. They can't tackle. Their defense is soft. Like they can't run the ball. They can't protect the quarterback. It's just sort of like one thing after another. They have a lot of issues at the same time. And I saw this earlier in the year, guys, when they were winning. I could tell they weren't really fully, it was sort of smoke and mirrors a little bit. They were a lot like a college football team that, yeah, they can put up a lot of points and stuff when they're beating somebody, but let's see what happens when someone punches them in the mouth back. And they haven't responded well, right? Like the Lions are sort of front runners. Yeah, we could beat you easily, but if it's close, we're in trouble. And we've seen that. And now it's not even close. They're falling apart. But it's an 18-game season. All teams have ups and downs, and no one's going to remember this, once the playoffs start. But it's a big game against the Bombers, Joe. What do you think of this one? The Bombers are 3.5-point road favorites against BC.
I have a hard time taking the Bombers, laying the 3.5 here. This is a team that came out, and yeah, they started off really rough, and they've got momentum back. They lost those first 4 games, and we're able to get something happening in those last couple, but I don't trust them here laying 3.5. I do think BC can cover the 3.5 with or without Vernon Adams Jr. So I'm going to grab BC plus the 3.5 and hold on for dear life, because if he's not back, we're going to see those struggles out there by BC again. Their defense really needs to come out a lot stronger, but I would lean to the over as well. I think this does go over the 46.5.
Cam, what do you think of this game?
I agree with Joe on the total, and I'm also going to take BC. I think last time you look at Edmonton, it's like, yeah, they're just the Elks or whatever. BC and Winnipeg hate each other. And, Gabe, for the last few years, that's the team that BC needed to get over the hump against. And I don't think Winnipeg's is good. Sure, they're winning a couple of games, but they haven't really impressed me. I think there's a huge game for BC where they actually get it together. I think they're serious. I think they play a very, very solid game, and they will cover, or if not, win outright in this game. And I see points.
Well, you're getting a desperate team. That's one thing. They've lost 3 in a row. They're at home. They've sold a lot of tickets for this game as well. It's like family day. So they've really pushed it for the kids and families to come out. They've sold, I think it's upwards of 35,000 tickets already, actually. And they probably would have sold more if they haven't lost the last 3 weeks in a row. But there's still a lot of goodwill about this team in Vancouver. So I would expect there's going to be a lot of people, and it is a big rivalry game here. These two teams have collided quite a bit over the last couple of years, and Winnipeg are getting back into business right now. It really wasn't Dolegala's fault. He was okay. Yeah. He wasn't bad. He wasn't great. You know what I mean? It was one of those, he missed some guys open. His receivers let him down a bit. But with all that being stated, I had my concerns about this coming into the year, and I voiced those concerns. I thought that the BC Lions backup quarterback situation was, quite frankly, not being attended to. They've always had pretty good 1-2 combos. They don't now.
Right.